All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Garage Podcast. I'm your host, David, and joining with me, as per usual, is my sultry and sexy co-host, Ted White. How are you doing, good sir?
It's late. I'm tired. Let's get the show on. No time for pleasantries.
Yeah, it is. I always forget it's an hour later in your neck of the woods since you have relocated your person,
That's
as well
true.
as your belongings. But
Most of them, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, luckily for you, today's topic should be short and sweet. Ha, you get it? You get it?
I wish I didn't.
Yeah, so that is a terrible segue going from our introductory uh, segment of the podcast to introducing the topic at hand, which has fucking nothing to do with anything geeky or nerdy or pop culture whatsoever.
Well, I don't know about that, but go on.
But it is apparently widely beloved by all of our fellow fans and listeners. So I think it makes it at least geeky by proxy, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it seemed like you had an argument that could be made for how ice cream can be perceived as geeky.
well, not necessarily perceived, but I mean, look at all the fucking tie-ins for different movies and properties. You know,
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, like Dippin Dots. It's like one of those companies that you very rarely see it in like grocery stores, but you do see it in like cool places like the Adventure Science Center and
Mhm. I'm glad you brought up Dippin' Dots because they're amazing. But we'll get to that.
yeah, yeah, we will get to that. But yeah, before we dive into our topic today, once again, just like usual, I want to thank all of our current subscribers as well as new subscribers. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you do not regret your decision. If this is your first episode of the podcast that you have chosen to listen to, sorry in advance. Usually we talk about more geeky stuff, but
Mm.
we have this thing on Facebook. It's the group, and every once in a while we'll throw out silly polls, try and figure out what we want, what you guys want out of us as far as talking points and episodes and whatnot. And apparently, you guys don't mind if every once in a while we just go completely off the rails and do something totally silly like cereal or ice cream. Um, I mean, I always forget how we came up with the idea for cereal, but
You were probably high one day, and I was just like, okay,
that sounds about right.
whatever will shut you up.
Yeah, that also sounds accurate. Yeah, and then we sat on it for about a year, and then ended up doing a episode on cereal when we were kind of hard up for topics at that point in time, and it ended up being a really fun episode. So I expect nothing less from this episode. So, yes, like I said, welcome one and all to this tragic affair. Ted, are you ready to talk about some icy creams?
Sure.
Cool. So, oh shit. Before we get started, we should talk about the second Dune trailer that just dropped over the weekend.
Okay.
Just for a few minutes, just to get it out of the way, and say that we did talk about it. So I have some thoughts and feelings on it, but I'd just like to hear yours. I know we texted a little bit back and forth, but nothing too comprehensive.
I think it looks all right. You know, I'm cautiously optimistic. I would say that it's the only time I will ever willingly watch Timothée Chalamet in a film. He's just like, I don't know what it is about that dude, but he's like a black hole for charisma. It's just like, I don't know.
You don't think you'll go see him in the newest Wes Anderson French bougie flick that's supposed to come out?
Damn, they're gonna get me to see this motherfucker's movie twice.
I just spoiled it. Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily, it's a
Uh,
Wes Anderson movie, and it's an ensemble cast, so
mm, mm.
there'll be a bunch
As they typically are.
right.
Back to Dune. I mean, the parts of it that look good look really good. The parts of it that look not as good don't look terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've read the book, but and I don't remember if this is in the book or not, so I don't want to speak out of turn too much. But the one bit that I was kind of like rolling my eyes at was where he has the back and forth with Jason Momoa, and he's like, Momoa's giving him shit like, "Oh, it feels like a muscle." Oh, really? No. I was just like, okay, all right. This isn't the fucking Avengers. All right, jerk me off. I'm done with this shit. But
So I am currently listening to the book on audiobook, and I haven't they kind of just introduced his character. Um, so there really hasn't been a whole lot of interaction between him and any other characters. So I can't really speak to whether that's um, an actual scene from the book or if he kind of has that cadence or personality about him. One of his very first scenes in the book was him like drunk off his ass.
yeah,
So I mean, there's that, but anyways,
I will say the Shai Halud looks really cool. I'm very excited for that.
the what?
The Shai Halud,
Uh,
the sandworm.
okay. So yeah, I don't know if I've gotten to the point in the book where they have referenced like the I don't know the scientific name, whatever kind of name you want to call that for the sandworms. They're either just called the worms or the sandworms. Like no one has said Shia-Lud yet. It's just been sandworms. So I guess I'm just waiting on that to happen. Maybe it'll happen eventually, but yeah, I'm really excited for it. In short, I I don't think I feel any differently about the movie in general than the first trailer. I mean, I'm still as equally excited to see it, if not a little bit more. I'll definitely still try and go see it in theaters. I would rather see it on the big screen rather than see it on HBO Max. Because Denis Villeneuve, his movies, they're not really meant to be seen on a small screen, at least for the first time, at least. So, yeah, excited for that. Ted, you ready to finally dive into this silly ass topic?
Yes.
Cool. So, like I said, we polled the Facebook group, the listeners in the Facebook group, and I learned a couple things. Our listeners definitely love ice cream, and surprisingly, there isn't a ton of brand loyalty until you get to like the really bougie shit where you have to like buy that brand in order to get that flavor of ice cream. Over people would say like chocolate chip or like cookie dough or mint chip, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that's awesome. Like any specific brand? They're like, no, it's kind of hard to fuck that up, and I'm like, like, have you tried like Kroger brands? Like,
I actually like Kroger brand. It's fine. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's all right.
There's one off brand that I can't really think of. Maybe it's just a specific flavor that is just not great. Or it's like the chips. Maybe it's like the chocolate chip, and like the chips are like almost minced instead of like the big chunks. And like I like the big chunks. See, we're getting fucking silly already. But yeah, so those are a couple things that we learned from polling our audience. Ted, would you like to hear the most popular flavors in descending order?
Sure.
Okay. So, in first place with the most votes, which is kind of fucking redundant, I apologize, is cookie dough. That got the most votes.
Unsurprising.
Yeah, I figured cookie dough would be pretty high up there. And yeah, I will say it's kind of hard to fuck up cookie dough. It's basically chocolate chip ice cream, and you add cookie dough to it.
What's fucked up is they're like, don't eat raw cookie dough. You could get salmonella because of the eggs. And then they put that shit in ice cream and like, no, this is totally different. Totally different. Totally different.
Right. Yeah, that's its own thing. Like, you know what? I am truly...
Once you freeze it, the salmonella fucks off. It just fucks right off out of there.
Yeah, the salmonella is like, what's that, the freezer? Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they do it in some way that this is from... It's not real cookie dough. I don't know why I'm arguing this point.
No, you know what it is? The people that say, don't eat the cookie dough, it's got salmonella. They are just pissed that they wasted so much of their life avoiding cookie dough, and they just want to prevent you from living your fullest life.
What a fool I've been, taking 40 minutes to cook this.
Yeah, that's all it comes down to, is just people trying to prevent other people from living their best life. And living your best life, believe it or not, does involve eating cookie dough. And there are some fantastic egg substitutes out there that still legit make your cookies taste good, by the way. If you are vegan, well, I'm probably preaching to the choir because you already fucking figured it out. That's its own topic. Second on... sorry. So shout out to one of our longtime fans and listeners, Mackenzie G. She said that she loves cookie dough with a heaping spoonful of peanut butter. Extra credit if you warm it up beforehand. I'm assuming she means warming up the peanut butter.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. There is nothing in that sentence that needs to be warmed up. I'm afraid to find out what she was referring to be honest with you.
I mean, I got to imagine it's the peanut butter. I mean, Mackenzie, if you're listening to this, shoot me a DM or leave me a comment somewhere on the page. Or maybe I'll just reach out and clarify.
I will say, though, peanut butter with certain flavors of ice cream is good. Throw a scoop in there.
Yeah. It does sound pretty bomb.com, in fact. So next on the list is mint chip, which is my personal favorite.
Wow. So we're going to go ahead and skip this because everyone who voted for this is wrong in ways that I don't even have time to discuss.
Okay, so I need to know why you feel so strongly about this.
Because mint anything is disgusting, first. Second, you're not making chocolate chips better. You're making them worse. Okay? You know something is bad when chocolate doesn't help it. Okay? That's how bad mint is. Even putting it with chocolate does not make it good.
So, okay.
Mint should be fired into the fucking sun. It is an abomination unto man.
Fuck you, mint chip. I'm going to shoot you into fucking space with Jeffrey Bezos. Ah!
Mint is why I don't believe there's a God, because a loving God would not allow something like mint to exist.
Oh my god. Okay, so wow. That is certainly a strong opinion.
Yes. That is my line in the sand.
Okay, so here's the kicker with mint chip. I definitely see all of your points.
All right, then that's it. That's the discussion. There's no need to go further.
So much so, like, the only capacity that I like mint is in mint chip ice cream and toothpaste. Like, I mean, if I happen to get a tube of toothpaste and it's like mint, because that's typically, how toothpaste comes, or that's one of the flavors or varieties of toothpaste. Anyways, everything else mint related, okay, except for Andes mints, but that's because they have chocolate attached to it. Once again, Ted, I don't expect you to understand, this is for mint lovers only. One thing I do fucking love the shit out of in every single capacity possible is cinnamon. Like cinnamon roll flavor.
Yes.
Like cinnamon roll flavor coffee creamer, cinnamon rolls, cinnamon buns.
The cinnamon challenge, the list goes on.
I guess maybe because I never was that desperate for like likes and validation. I
Mm-hmm.
never got into the cinnamon challenge. The Tide Pod challenge, however, I ate 5 of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're tasty
And
and delicious. Uh,
yes,
I
smells like spring.
Yeah, my remembrance of the cinnamon challenge is a guy I used to work with insisting that he could do it, and everybody who had tried it was soft and like refusing to give up until I'm pretty sure his nose started bleeding. And I gotta hand it to him; he gave it the old college try, but ultimately the cinnamon remained undefeated.
Because it's cinnamon,
Yeah.
and everyone bows at the altar of cinnamon, because that is the only way
What
it
was that other
is.
challenge? The banana and Sprite. I worked with a guy, same job actually.
Banana and Sprite.
We didn't get a lot done. Yeah, you're supposed to like eat a banana and chug a Sprite or something. I don't remember, but anyway, he did
Ugh.
it and was like, "See, that wasn't so hard." And like within a second after finishing his sentence, like Exorcist style projectile vomiting across the parking lot. And honestly, that is honestly one of the highlights of my early 20s. We did not get a lot done at that job, clearly.
So was that the challenge? Is to eat and drink those two items and
Something,
then not vomit?
something. I don't remember. I've been hit in the head too many times. It was something
Okay,
like that.
yeah,
But
because
yeah,
I definitely don't recall that challenge. I just
uh,
recall mostly the challenges that people are hospitalized from,
yeah.
and then it makes the news. Um, so
White people
yeah. Anyway,
crazy.
uh, yes. Obviously, we have nothing else better to occupy our time with. Next up on the list, similar to the previous two, is or I'm sorry, I read this as chocolate chip. This is just regular chocolate,
Yeah.
and you honestly cannot go fucking wrong with straight up chocolate ice cream.
It is the basic bitch of ice cream flavors, but it is
Wouldn't
uh,
that be vanilla?
no,
What would
because
vanilla
everybody
be?
likes chocolate. Therefore, it's the basic bitch of ice cream flavors. But it's good nonetheless. You know,
Yeah.
chocolate's good. Sometimes you just want to keep it simple.
Do now? Let me ask you this: how do you feel about the Neapolitan ice cream?
I
Where
personally am a
it's the
fan of the
okay,
Neapolitan because I like all three flavors. I'm not so. Despite being a giant and a fat tub of shit, I am actually I'm not the world's biggest ice cream fan. Um,
sure.
I like I'm boring with my I like chocolate chip. That is pretty much the only ice cream I will eat with any kind of regularity. And by regularity I mean like once a week tops. Um, I'm not, but I like Neapolitan because it's just if I get three choices in one, right?
Yeah,
Plus,
you can't go
yeah,
wrong.
strawberry and vanilla goes together. Strawberry and chocolate goes together. Vanilla and chocolate go together. It's just, whoever hit that one, some Italian motherfucker knocked that one out of the park. I don't know who it was.
So
Christopher Columbus, possibly. I don't know. I wasn't there.
growing up, I always thought it was Napoleon ice cream.
Yes.
Like I was like, what the fuck did Napoleon Bonaparte have to do with this goddamn ice cream? And someone pulled me aside and be like, all right, David, first of all, you can't talk like that at a third grade birthday party. And second of all, it's Neapolitan, you dumb fuck. I was like, oh, okay. Um, the I would always go around the strawberry. Like that's one flavor. Like unless you stick it in a daiquiri with some rum,
Hmm.
like I'm uh, I'm just not really interested in strawberry flavored shit. Um, so yeah, I could definitely do the Neapolitan without the strawberry. I definitely see the merit in all three. Like you said, it's one tub, three flavors. Doesn't get much better than that. Um, all right, so after chocolate is sherbet slash
Okay.
sorbet.
Okay. I'm going to
I
go ahead and I'm going to hit the alarm here. I'm
okay.
going to hit the pause button. Not ice cream.
Um,
Not
I
ice cream.
would say that is probably accurate,
No,
but
that is no
it
probably. That is
was
100% accurate.
so. Are we? We're going to say ice cream is defined by its fucking name. It has the
Yes.
word cream in it. Okay.
Well, it contains
And
cream anyway.
sherbet
Sherbet and
and
sorbet,
sorbet,
while delicious,
they
not ice cream.
Do not contain cream. Okay.
And they might. I'm not a fucking baker. I don't know any of this shit.
You're not a master baker?
I'm not even a novice baker.
I remember that one fucking time it was when we first started hanging out, at least on the basis of, you coming over to my house, and you came over and I was like, hey, you want to come hang out in the kitchen? I'm going to whip up some cookies real quick. And you were like, okay. And like, you thought I was just going to take some of those Toll House break and bake cookies out of the fucking fridge. And you see me like getting the fucking flour and sugar out of the pantry, and you're like, what the hell is this motherfucker doing?
Yeah.
And like, we're just straight up having like an interesting conversation about, masturbation or something like that. I don't know.
Yep. Jerking it while talking about, while making cookies.
Yes. And bacon and shaking.
This is a masturbation heavy episode. It's a weird thing. It's a weird combination.
Yeah, it's inevitable when you get two dudes together. Anyways,
no. Well,
that's called a circle jerk.
Anyways,
so back to this tangent. So I'm just like standing there doing my thing, and we're having a conversation. You just have like a quick tangent. You're like, by the way, I'm like incredibly impressed that you're just doing all this right now, like by memory. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. Like, I appreciate that. Like, which isn't, it is, I guess, a compliment. I took it as one, but seriously, I do one thing really well, and that's my chocolate chip cookies. Everything else is absolute dog shit.
Yeah,
or mediocre.
I can grill / cook meat, and that's it. Like, I made ramen the other day. It was terrible. I don't know how you fuck up ramen, but I found a way.
You know what? I discovered that if you do ramen for 2 minutes instead of 3, and then drain it, and then put it back on the stove, and then mix in your seasoning, you get it a little bit more al dente instead of soft, and it tastes a lot better. I mean, pasta is just better in general. Al dente.
Al dente.
Oh God, al dente. Thank you. But yeah. Anyways, God, super food heavy episode. These tangents are bound to happen, regardless of whatever episode it is. But you get us talking about food, it's gonna go off the rails real quick, folks. Okay, so we got sherbet and sorbet on the list, even though Ted decided that. What'd you say?
I'm putting my foot down.
He's putting his foot down. Next up, we got cookies and cream. Only 1 or 2 votes for cookies and cream, which I feel is deserved, because I don't really dig on cookies and cream. Cookies and cream is like the kind that I like. If nothing else is there, like I'm gonna eat it, but I'm gonna be pissed about it.
Yeah, I don't really like Oreos that much, and then it's like, I don't want Oreo ice cream. The exception is Dippin Dots cookies and cream, which is fucking amazing. Ironically,
what a way to bring it back.
Ironically, made from Oreos. Who would have thought? I'm very confused by it, because I don't like any of those things that add up to it. And I tried it, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. I was very confused. I'm still confused by this, but I don't know.
Okay, well, you take that one isolated example of that time you will eat cookies and cream ice cream. That's how I feel about mint chip in general. So apply that if in your own way.
I see the logic trail you're trying to reach, or you're trying to make to reach the point. However, about 3/4 of the way down the trail, there's a bear trap. And it just ends abruptly because it doesn't make sense.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, so cookies and cream, it's fine. It's not bad. Like, my parents used to buy that shit a lot. Like, both my parents and my brother Josh used to eat the shit out of it, and I'm like, fucking cookies and cream again? Get some good ice cream, you broke bitches. Sorry, David. That's your parents were talking about. No, it's okay. Fuck 'em. Like, it literally wouldn't cost them anything else to buy another flavor of ice. Like, they were already buying Breyers. Like, and Breyers is like $6 for a half gallon. So, like, just buy another flavor every once in a while. And that shit goes on sale all the time. So, I don't know why I'm complaining about shit that was like 25 fucking years ago. But, here we are.
Mhm.
Um, anyway, so moving down the list, we got butter pecan. Have never tried this, and probably never will because I am not a huge fan of pecans. I know all Southerners out there just took an audible gasp. Um, but fuck you, I'm from California,
Mhm.
so
Also,
you know what?
pecans,
Go fuck
not that
yourself.
good. They're
Thank
good
you,
in
sir.
pie.
I won't eat them in pie capacity
Well,
either. Like
that's
I
all right.
see a pecan pie and I'm like, that doesn't look
Yeah,
appetizing.
I mean that's the only time they're good, but I get it. That's fair.
Now, a pecan pie, is there any like chewiness to it? I know that.
Yeah, yeah. Under the pecan layer,
So, but like, so does the pie get baked, or is it one of those like no bake
David.
kind of
Why would I
situations?
know that?
I don't know
Just Google
because
this. I have no idea.
um, well, I mean, I'm curious. Like, I mean, a pecan is obviously like by default, you know, at least semi crunchy.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering if during the baking process, I mean, it's got to lose a little bit of that crunch, right?
What am
So
I, some
it's
kind
got
of
to
fucking
have a
nut
little.
scientist? I don't know.
Yes, in fact, I am a nut scientist. Thank you very much. I'm getting my PhD in nuts. That's what I'm going for here. Um, anyways, so back to the basic bitches of ice cream. We got
Mhm.
vanilla next.
I like vanilla.
Um,
Sometimes you just want some plain ass ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot go wrong with a vanilla ice cream on a regular ass ice cream
Hmm.
cone at McDonald's, provided that their ice cream machine isn't broken, which it usually
Yeah,
is.
that's never been a thing that's ever happened. No one's ever tasted that. But vanilla is basically. I mean, chocolate chip is basically vanilla with chocolate chips in it. So obviously, you gotta have respect for the classics here. The fact
Yeah,
that it only got one
I mean,
vote,
you got
offensive to me.
yeah, it should be offensive. But you know what? I think a lot of people just assumed that like other people would vote for vanilla, or that they just assumed that vanilla was kind of like a given.
Hmm, fair.
Right? I mean, which I think it is. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead in our notes and move vanilla to the top of the
Just gonna put that up
list,
here where it belongs.
right above
And that
cookie dough,
knocks
which
mint
got the
chip
most
down to third
votes.
place, which is still too high, but is much better than second. Uh,
Yeah, I literally just changed the notes because I'm a fucking
no.
nerd. Um, anyways, so yeah, vanilla can't go wrong. It's delicious. Don't know about nutritious, but um, where do you stand on vanilla versus vanilla bean? Do your taste buds find too much of a
Mm.
difference? Do you tend to prefer one over the
No,
other?
although I will say that my girlfriend and I were at the grocery store and there were like 4 different kinds of vanilla, and I had a meltdown in the fucking ice cream aisle. No pun intended. I was
Because
I was
because you
fucking
couldn't
no.
decide.
It wasn't about deciding. It was just I was angry about it. Why? It all comes from the same fucking thing. It's milk and sugar and vanilla. Like I don't need 5 fucking kinds of this shit.
Was it 4 different kinds of vanilla from one
Yes.
brand, or
Yes, it was
was that?
one brand and it was like vanilla, French vanilla, vanilla bean, and
Oh
then
yeah, I forgot about
some
French
other
vanilla.
fucking variation of vanilla. And I was just like, it's white ice cream, dog. Like it ain't that deep.
Well, that just goes to show you like the power of vanilla. Like,
We could put a
you know,
man on the moon, but we can't get down to one fucking flavor of vanilla ice cream.
no, because this is America, goddammit. Like we
Hey, why is
need
everybody
to
in
pack
America
as much
fat? Probably because there's 4 different kinds of fucking vanilla ice cream that we got to argue about.
Yeah, I mean, fuck like moving society forward. we got to concentrate on the real issues.
Oh,
at
you guys
hand
wanted
here,
universal
which is
health
get more
care?
vanilla.
Sorry, too much vanilla. All right,
We're gonna give you diabetes.
That's enough of that. All right, moving forward.
Yeah. So next one on the list, I meant to Google search this because I couldn't really place it in my mind.
It's
Americone
Ben and
Dream.
Jerry's.
That don't. Is it
Yeah.
okay? That's
Yeah.
what I thought. I was like, that seems like a brand specific thing, and it sounded like Ben and Jerry's.
Americone Dream is basically like if you took a Nutty Buddy. Isn't that what that ice cream cone is called?
That's
Nutty
right.
Buddy, and crushed it into
Yeah.
ice cream. That would be American. If you're into that.
Yeah. Speaking of Nutty Buddy, there are it's this like chocolate snack food that you can buy. Apparently, right now you can only buy it on like Amazon, and it's like $30 for a 1 ounce bag.
It's
but
crack prices.
It is yes, it's the bottom tip of, well, I guess that's redundant. It's the tip of like Nutty Buddy ice cream cones, the part that's filled with chocolate. That's it. But aside from the ice cream, it's the most delicious part of the cone, right? Because it's the waffle cone and it's filled with chocolate.
It seems like this would be very easy to replicate.
Probably. And you could probably make a shit ton of it for way less than $30. Because waffle cones ain't that expensive, and neither is chocolate. I mean, you can buy like the bark chocolate for like $2. So
moral of the story is y'all are fucking up. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah. As Ron Swanson says, people who pay for things are morons. Anyway, so coming down to the wire here, we got a single vote for sea salt and caramel. I've only tried this flavor of ice cream a handful of times, but the most memorable time, I believe, was from Jenny's, and that shit was delicious. Very good. Ted, have you had a chance to try sea salt and caramel ice cream?
No, I have not. The only kind of caramel I like are Werther's, basically. And sea salt is just a marketing
boomers,
fucking tactic.
The boomer candy.
So.
Yeah.
Pink Himalayan salt.
Yeah.
That shouldn't come off no mountain. Get me out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you get a chance, you should try it because it's pretty
I'll see
delicious.
What I can
do. All right. Well, if not, I'll just go fuck myself. And then I saved the not necessarily the best for last. I saved the bougie shit for last. The stuff that is pretty brand specific. So my friend Amanda, she suggested Malted Moo by Tillamook or Tillamook.
Tillamook.
I gotta
Tillamook.
Yeah. She put that in the chat, and I was like, I've never heard of this, but it sounds like the bougiest shit I have ever heard of. But I gotta try it. I looked it up. Sounds delicious. And as a connoisseur of ice cream, I must have it. I must try it. So, but yeah, I will try it, and I will, in fact, report back my findings. So, and then last but certainly not least, my friend Carmela suggested biscuits and peach jam, which is offered by Jenny's Ice Cream, a major institution here in the Nashville area. I don't know if Jenny's is a big thing that's around the U.S., but there's a couple sprinkled throughout the Middle Tennessee area, and people go apeshit for it.
Biscuits are disgusting, and putting them in ice cream is a sin against man. That is my official stance. I have no further thoughts.
Yeah, I can neither confirm nor deny, because I don't have the knowledge of, that if biscuits go into the ice cream in the same fashion that cookie dough goes into cookie dough ice cream. I don't know if that's the case, or if it's a case like vanilla, where it's like a biscuit extract.
So flour? I don't understand.
I feel like you just take a fucking like a bag of flour and dump it into like
What's the
vanilla ice
gold
cream.
label? Is that the flour brand? Dump it in the fucking vat.
Yeah, just get it on in there. Yeah, I guess that's how you. And then you would add some peach jam to it, or whatever. So yeah, what I wanted to ask this while we're still on the topic of ice cream. Do you have like a favorite place to go get ice cream that's not the grocery store? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I know what you mean.
obviously this isn't.
Um, I don't know. I don't really get out much. I don't know if this is my favorite place or if this is just like, because the milkshake was so good. But like Maggie Moo's used to have a
Mhm.
cinnamon roll milkshake, I think, or something like that.
Mm.
That shit was good. I just didn't want to drive over to the fucking ghetto to get one, so I stopped.
Man,
Yeah,
that
it was
does
very
sound
good.
fucking good.
I don't get out much, man.
Yeah.
And then, if I want a milkshake, I'll just fucking make one at home. I got a blender. I'm not some kind of poor person. I got my own shit.
Nah, I respect that. It's like back when I was younger in my 20s, and you're a loser, and you don't go partying. Your options are like going to the movies and going out to eat and going to get ice cream. Like that's the trifecta right there. And I would always what was that place in Providence? It's not there anymore. It wasn't
It wasn't a cold
Cold
stone. It
Stone. It
was
was the
a marble
marble
slab. Yeah.
slab. Yeah. That place was great. Cold Stone is great too. Obviously, it basically the same concept. The person gets your ice cream, whatever you choose, obviously, and then just beats the ever
Yes.
living piss out of it
Violently.
on the. Yeah, I was
Basically
like, I
a domestic
remember the
assault
first
being
time I
committed
went
right in
there.
front of you. It's very uncomfortable.
Yes, they're just like, okay, this ice cream.
Yeah.
They go ham on that ice cream.
Imagine
And
the scene from Friday the
uh,
13th where he's beating the kid in the sleeping bag against a tree with ice cream, and you're not far off.
that is yes. The people that work there, they have to watch
That's
that
part of
scene
training,
on
actually.
repeat.
It's
That's their
very,
training
very
video.
uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable to see.
Yeah, yeah. It's just that like 10-second clip on repeat. And then if they can get through that without vomiting, because it's like seriously a half hour of watching that clip on repeat, then they get to see the scene from the Jason reboot where the couple is having sex in the tent, and then Jason comes in with a machete and cuts the girl down the middle. Um, that's the bonus in there for you. But yeah,
It's not a
anyways,
very
back to
good
the ice
job, is what
cream.
we're getting.
Yes, it's a
Very,
crap
very
job with
bad.
crap
Benefits,
pay.
not good either.
Yes, they pay you in ice cream,
Huh.
which doesn't sound bad up front, but like if you're looking for money, better go find a job somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, did
Yeah.
I wear out the joke? Okay, well, I'll go fuck myself. Bye, everyone.
You know the saying, you should stop one
So
line sooner? That was your one line sooner.
dope. I always wondered, like, did they leave with just like massive
Yes.
forearms, like, or maybe they just got like really good at masturbating. Here we are back to
Kumasi
masturbating.
Kumasa.
God damn it. Yeah. So I liked Marble Slab. Trying to think of any other places that were really good. I mentioned Jenny's already. Dippin Dots, obviously, can't go wrong with Dippin Dots.
They're
Wherever
hard
you
to
can find
find,
it.
but they're very good. And I found
Yeah.
out the reason they're hard to find. So we actually, there's a place not too far from us that has them, a gas station of all places, like some little mom and pop gas station has them for God knows what reason. So I bought some the other day, And I was looking online. I was like, where the fuck can I find these in bulk? Because number one, they're really expensive to buy in like it's just a single serving package, like everything else. And
Right.
I was like, where the fuck can I buy these? And I found out online that like a lot of places won't carry them because they have to be frozen at such a low temperature. Like most freezers, most commercial freezers are at like 0 degrees, right? That's well below freezing, keeps everything good. But Dippin Dots, to maintain that little, BB dot shape, hence the name, they have to be at
Right.
like -40.
So it's got to be packed with like
Yeah,
dry ice,
and
basically.
so a lot of places won't carry them because they're like, no, fuck you, we're not going to do all that. But apparently, this random mom and pop gas station down the street that they have like one little cooler that's Dippin Dots branded, and they're like, come get them. And you reach
That's
in, and you're like,
that's
oh my
dope.
god, I'm going to lose a finger just getting ice cream out. But you know what? Worth it. Worth it.
Next time you're in there, tell this message. Tell them this message from me.
Okay, I
They're
will do
doing
that.
the
I will
Lord's
tell them.
work. And I'm like a borderline atheist, so
They are Hindu,
that's
so I
saying
do not
something.
think it will
Deliver
translate,
that
but I will do my
entire
best.
Well,
I will see what I will
yeah,
report back my
just
findings when I tell them that Jesus loves them because of this.
very good. Thank you. Well, Ted, I think we've talked for about 35 minutes or so on ice cream. I think 35 minutes, and I think that's a decent
Too
run
long, if
time for a
anything.
conversation. I mean, I could go on, honestly, but for the preservation of our time and sanity and the sanity of our listeners, I think
Yeah,
we're going to
let's
stop it right there
skip shit.
and
Doesn't
get
suck.
to. Do
No,
you
I'm
want to
saying
skip it?
to shit that doesn't suck. Yeah.
Oh, skip. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Do you have something on deck for shit that doesn't suck?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to
Whoever,
go
it doesn't matter.
first, or? Okay. All right, I'll go first. I think you
Sure.
went first last time. I don't
None of
think
that
we really
matters.
keep track of that, but nope, doesn't. All right, so for my shit that doesn't suck this week, I feel like I'm kind of cheating a little bit, but at the same time, not really. So a couple weeks ago, for my shit that didn't suck was True Detective, but that was really only the first season and then like part of season 2. I just finished season 3 a couple days ago. I loved it. I love all 3 seasons. Like I love my children. I can't pick one. They all have their merits. But season 3 was fantastic. I feel like that's as close as to like a true crime kind of situation that they came to. Um, I am so sorry. I don't know how. Ted, do you
Mahershala
know how to
Ali.
pronounce the Maher?
Mahershala
Say it again.
Ali. I think so. Yeah.
Mahershala. Okay. Yeah, he did a fucking fantastic job. This watching this made me super excited to see him in Blade. I know the two have absolutely nothing in common as far as like acting styles, um, but yeah, like it was cool to just see him in something else. So yeah, that is my shit that doesn't suck. Ted, what
So
you
this is
got?
going to be a controversial answer in some ways because it's got
Okay.
some pretty shitty reviews.
Hmm.
I
All right.
finally got around like a month later to watching the Resident Evil Infinite Darkness show on Netflix. I am a huge Resident Evil fan,
Okay.
and the movies are always bad. That's just the rules. I don't know why. And the shows are always bad. Again, I don't know why. So I went in with very low expectations, and I knew a lot of the reviews were not good, and I was pleasantly surprised. It
Okay.
to be a Resident Evil fan is to be very forgiving of the nonsensical storylines, and I feel like that should not translate, but that should like carry over to this because it does not make a lot of sense. But I enjoyed it. I watched it yesterday afternoon. It's like 4 episodes of about 25 or so minutes a piece, so a little under 2 hours. I knocked it out yesterday afternoon, and I mean it was fun.
Okay.
It wasn't It's not the greatest thing I've ever seen, but it was entertaining for 2 hours. Yeah.
Sure. That's cool. Um, yeah, I just thought of another one. I mean, you saw that the 3-part series of Fear Street came out on Netflix, right? I
I
think
saw
it's three
something like
parts,
that. Yeah.
maybe more. I don't. Yeah, I watched the first part the other day, and it is this weird blend of like 1 second it'll kind of be writing that PG-13 line where you feel like they were trying to get a PG-13 rating, and then all of a sudden like someone will get like a
Hmm.
machete in the fucking head, and you're like, oh god, that came out of nowhere. um so yeah, it was decent. I'm excited to keep going in the for part 2 and 3, and I don't know how many parts there are, but yeah. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Ted, you got anything else that you want to, any words of wisdom you'd like to impart onto our
Um,
listeners? Watch more
there
movies
is
'cause
absolutely
movies
no
make life
sex in the
better.
champagne room.
I always found that funny, but I never got it. I always felt that there was a joke there.
Yeah, there's a
And
joke there. All right.
okay, well, off air, I'm gonna get you to explain it to me, because, um, yeah. Anyways, moving forward. Listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to this silly ass episode of the podcast. Please go leave us a rating and review where applicable. That is basically Apple Podcast and Stitcher. 1 stars or 5 stars. You commit to the bits. None of this middle of the road bullshit. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. If you'd like to support the podcast in a means that costs you your hard-earned doll hairs, we have a Patreon. It is $2 and $5 a month. And you get some pretty cool perks, like active right now. Assuming that the video for this episode does not fuck up. We've been having some technical difficulties. And the learning curve with video for podcasting is steep, I tell you. But what I'm getting at is that video for the podcast will be available very, very soon for our Patreon donors, and then soon for the rest of our listeners. So yeah, that's one of the perks. You also get a cool introductory button and sticker set, and you get to help us out with programming. So pretty cool deal. Anyways, like I said, thank you for listening, and as always, be kind, stay geeky, and eat lots of cheesecake. Bye!